everybody, it's time to LOL. Listen out loud, that is. It's time for Anime Jam Session with DJ Ranma S, Mako-chan, and Ari Rockefeller.
Hey everybody, welcome to Anime Jam Session, episode number 697. We are that podcast talks about anime, games, conventions, the fandom, geek stuff, and everything in between. I'm DJ Ranma S.
And I'm Ari Rockefeller.
Wait, what in the fresh farm fuck? Hold on.
What is it?
It's coming through my speakers, so now I gotta go scream at Discord. This is one of the reasons why I absolutely hate Discord. Let's see. Output. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we should be good now. Actually, no, it's actually showing the volume controls. Ugh. And there we go. Again, this is why I fucking hate Discord. I wish Microsoft had not given the death knell to Skype and wouldn't be having these problems. Well, it is what it is. So, anywho, let's get on with this show tonight, shall we? Yes, we shall. All right. So, Ari, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm hanging in there, I guess.
Good, good, good. Mako-chan is off tonight. She caught something nasty and, well, she's still recovering. She'll be back to her normal ornery self next week. So, there is that. So, let's go through everything here. We are live tonight, the week of November 4th, 2025, right here on Twitch TV. Jesus, where does the time go? I mean,
I know, right?
It was just January, just a few weeks, like a few months ago, and now here we are. It's coming down to the end of the year. But on the plus side, that means our 3-week break is coming up. And no, I am not going to Japan this time. That'll be later in 2026, if that. So, anywho, let's get the show going, shall we? We are here live Tuesdays from 9 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. You can always find us here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Anime Jam Session. We're also proud to be part of the Voice of Geeks Network at vognetwork.com. And they're also on Twitch. You can find them at twitch.tv/vognetwork. And come hang out in our Discord. vognetwork.com/Discord. Every show that's part of the Voice of Geeks Network has a channel. So come through, hang out, and have a good time. So there is it, and that's that. So now that we got that going, I'm going to kick things over to Ari and be like, hey, Ari, how was your week and how was your day?
Well, I had off today, and
That's good.
got paid, so that's all good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I went over to a laundromat to wash my sheets because the washer I have is woefully unprepared, like not big enough to wash all of that. I mean, I can barely fit the bedspread in there. So the nice nearby coin operated laundry, and I mean coin operated because it's like $7 and it takes quarters, and I don't have to go buy off a freaking card or whatever.
Yeah, because if you do, then I've noticed that the laundries where you use the card or the tap card, they charge more money to cover the cost of the tech and the card and all of that, you know. But if you're dropping $7 on a blanket like that, tell me it's one of the large machines.
Oh, it's the largest one in there, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Because now I'm not surprised that you had to go to the laundry.
And hang on.
Yeah.
I also, when I finally got a chance to put on these things I bought, which were what happened is you stick them on the corner. You stick them on the mattress on the corners. You pull the fitted sheet over them and slip this little plastic strip in it to keep the fitted sheet in place. Which it worked pretty well mostly. I mean, I checked the other one, checked this morning, and one of the corners already fell off. So I'm like, oh.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what about your fitted sheet? What now?
It was this thing that I saw on Facebook that helps keep it. One of the devices that's supposed to keep your fitted sheet from sliding off and coming undone on the.
Okay. Oh, I know what you're talking about. All right. You know what you're
But
there.
like I said, one of them came also and going to be like, I'm gonna have to go back to the bondage harness looking thing after this.
Well, that's what I saw people. That's what I saw during use the little fastener snaps that you connect underneath that it stays on. But I've never had an issue with that. For a split second, you talk about how you're able to fold a fitted sheet, and I know there is a
No,
way
not
to
that.
fold a fitted sheet, but folding a fitted sheet is like boxing George Foreman. Okay, there are some things I just don't want to do.
Anyway, I also voted today. That was good.
Yep.
And yesterday, after I got my laundry done, I took a drive over to see to go to these there's like premium outlet stores in my area. It's opened like a couple years ago. Built from the ground up by the community college, and one of the places there is a Gertrude Hawk chocolate store, which I used to work at for a while back in the late 2000s. The one in the Deptford Mall had shut down, and they moved around a bunch of places, but they finally have a new one at this new premium outlet, and they've been there for the past few years.
Oh, okay.
And the same woman who was in charge of the first one is still there, still running it, and she was very delighted to see me.
I was gonna ask if she remembered you.
Oh yeah, like took one look at me and like face just lit up. Because I was because back at that time I was one of like one, maybe two other guys who worked there.
Okay, that's really cool. I mean,
I stopped in, caught up, bought a bunch of candy and whatnot, and made my way home.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me like when you go back to your old, like ever since I've gone back to my old job and I'm wearing a different uniform or normal clothes, they're just looking at you like, you got off the retail plantation. How did you do that? It's kind of crazy. It's like back when I worked at Microsoft, walking in there wearing well, you're not supposed to, but I did it anyway. Walking in wearing like my blue long sleeve Microsoft jacket, just to walk around and grab something and leave, and just seeing everybody in their Staples uniforms, like looking at me like, "Oh, he made the big time." Or another time where I actually still have it. It's in my closet, I believe. I actually have a fleece jacket, fleece jacket, a gray one. It's like those generic ones you can buy online. You put your own like logos and stuff on it. But mine says Microsoft, and I used to wear it a lot. But since I got the LTT heavy duty jacket, hoodie, I haven't worn that one as much, except if it's when it's really cold as F out, because that and fleece is warm and you end up sweating because but anyway, but wearing that and it's like, oh, where'd you get that? Oh, well, when you work for the company you get good swag, like that. So but I completely feel you on that. I really do. So my weekend day has been more or less the same. It's a different take when you work from home, and I realize I'm not getting as many steps as I normally do, but I kind of made up for being at Derpycon last weekend, which I will definitely talk to y'all about. So that was that, and it's been fun. The guy that rented the room next to me moved out, and I almost took it, but the guy wants a little bit more, so we're kind of negotiating until if somebody else moves in, and then the price that they go for the room next door that it's going for, you can add maybe $100 or $200, so you can just, and if you're lucky, you can find an apartment for the same price if you're lucky. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe by the end of the month.
In New York, you can get an apartment for that cheap.
If you're lucky, I mean, look, not for nothing. I had a really nice semi-spacious basement apartment for about almost $900 a month, and then like the last 4 months, I was paying $1,225 for it because of drama or whatever. So I mean, the cheapest you could find a 2-bedroom around here is like maybe $2,400, and if you find somebody, it does help. I mean, I remember when I was apartment hunting, I found an apartment for $1,200, and all they were going to do was like touch-ups. And I walked in, it just smelled like someone died in there. There was like a high caked level of grime and dirt. I'm just like, are they at least going to clean this up? You know? But and I
They tell you nope with a smile on their face.
look. In a way, I'm kind of glad I didn't take it, but at the same time, I kind of wish I did. But story for another time, you know. So there is that. So to go to our chat room here, let's see what's going on here. Pod Culture says, I have the WAN and LAN hoodies from LTT. Nice ones. Yeah, I don't. The reason why I never bought the WAN hoodies is I didn't like the logos. I didn't want the bright orange. I just like the chill LTT ones. And I'm kind of hoping they bring back the Swacket because I love the fit on the Swacket. But the downside is...
what?
It's called a Swacket. It's a sweater and a jacket called the Swacket. You can actually find these in normal stores. Like Old Navy was selling a variant of the Swacket for a while. I found for like $25, which was nice until it ripped. But you know. But the thing is, it's kind of form fitting. So when I first got it, because my hoodies I go a size up. So if I'm wearing an extra large shirt or whatever, my coats, jackets and all of that, even I think my sweaters, I go 2XL because I just feels more roomier, you know. Even that's how I've always done it. So I put on the 2XL, I put on the Swacket, and it was just form fitting. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna let this hang up here. When I started losing weight, like the first I started losing weight, and I think I got down to about to the 280s around that. I put the Swacket on, it really felt good, and I'll say I wore the Swacket I think last week or week before last because the weather was really cold, and I'll get into the weight, and it felt good. So I'm like, okay, it wasn't form fitting per se, so you know. And as KS Yumi says, bigger the sweater, the better. Yes, it makes it easier to layer and walk around. Going back to the weight loss, for those of you who don't know, I'm back on medication to lose weight, and my last weigh-in...
I hear that.
Yeah, my last weigh-in, I'm at 290... No. First, they said I was at 308. Then I went down to 303. And now they're saying I'm like 293, something like that. But you also got to take in consideration when I get on the scale. And most of us, I go to the doctors, and when we get on the scale, we got our shoes on, we got stuff in our pockets. So they have to estimate, like, give or take 5 pounds for your actual weight. So, and I noticed that for the last week or so, like half a week or so, when I have an extra large belt. When I put my belt up, I'm going past that first notch on the very end. I'm just like, okay. So there is that. So yes. As Chaos Yume, the hoodies are good. I don't mean to sit here and shill for LTT or Lions Tech Tips. I will say this. I have a lot of hoodies I've worn throughout the years. There was this one job I worked at, and I had this gray hoodie, and I wore it all the time because I just loved how comfortable it felt. And I shed a tear when it kind of fell apart. It got really worn in. And I got it from Old Navy. Got another one. It just didn't feel the same because they changed, I think, the proportions of the material. So I just bounced from hoodie to hoodie to hoodie. I took a shot on the LTT hoodie. I think I caught it on sale for like $39. You needed the jaws of life to pull me out of that hoodie because that's how comfortable it was. I mean, the wrist area is starting to get all holy. I'm going to send it to Barry Mellon and ask them to patch that up for me. I went out and got the pro hoodie, okay? I paid retail for that, $60. So, and what was great was, not great, but what happened was like the back stitching for the bottom part started to come apart. And I contacted them. They said, keep the old one, and they sent me another one. Linus has that guarantee, you know. I'm just like, okay, bet. I gave her the other hoodie, I shipped it to her. I'm like, you could probably fix this or have your friend refix the stitching on the back, but here, you know, so... There is that. So I'm kind of happy about that. So there is that. And Cia DeBerry says, glad you're making progress. My weight is plateauing, I think, but my A1C is doing really well with my medication. Now, here's the thing about that. This is my second time on the medication. So being on it again, my body has kind of gotten used to it. So the weight loss I'm feeling now, when I first started taking it, I felt it like maybe a month in. It took about 3 months for it to finally sort of start working, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And now that I know how I feel about my food, how if I'm feeling full and this and that, I'm a lot more meticulous and much more aware. So now if I still get like from random like midnight snack munchies. So I have like a box of trail mix. So those of you who are watching the stream, there is an orange box, ha 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 ha, there. In that orange box is just packages of trail mix and snack mix. And every week, or every other week, I buy a box, a different pack, and I just throw it in there. So I may eat one or two and just be on my merry little way, which to me is a lot better than going in the kitchen and finding something full of sodium and all of that and just eating and then still being hungry later. So yes, mystery hoodies for $30. Take a look at all the hoodies that they have first so you know what the design is and then go for it. But I will tell you this. This is just from my personal view. Their hoodies are absolutely amazing. It's like walking around in a hug, if you ask me personally. So there's it. Yeah. All right. Enough about that. Let's get going here. We're going way off here. So we're going to get into some housekeeping news real quick. Let's see. There we go. Episodes of our show, Anime Jam Session, are available on our VOD page, which is YouTube, youtube.com/Anime Jam Session. You go there, and the episode is available Thursdays at 12 p.m. If you don't see it, just head over to the playlist tab, and all of the episodes are there, starting with the most recent one, so you're going to be doing that. Podcoach says AJS is going to be selling screwdrivers soon. No. Actually, no. We wouldn't be in the market for that. We'd be selling things like Ramune, Pocky. We'd be selling Mako-chan's mystery Japanese snack box kit and stuff like that. That's what we would be doing. Well, maybe AJS themed memory cards. Who knows? But actually, it'd be more Japanese themed. If anything, I would do like DJ Ranma S's 2-week tour of Japan. That's right, for $7,000, which includes your flight, 2 weeks throughout Japan. I'll show you where all the good stuff is. By the way, bring an extra $2,500 for spending money because you're going to need it. Actually, given how the dollar to yen ratio is, you're probably only gonna need like $2,000. The AJS cruise? No, we're not Colossal Con. We won't do something that stupid. Nope. A lot of those themed celebrity cruises do not make much money, so I'm like, apps. I wouldn't even bother. So let's see, what else do we have here? No more cons. We're done. We're done. Our Anime Jam Session 2025 convention season is officially over. We did say Anime New Jersey was on the list, but honestly, my panel about going to Japan has been waitlisted, so I'm like, I'm going to email them and be like, no, take me off. I'm good. I will be going to PAX Unplugged in about 2 weeks. A friend invited me to come along, and I think this is my second convention this year that I'm going as an actual attendee, And you're probably wondering, what was the first con? 90s Con. Yeah. I think 90s Con and PAX East will be the only two conventions I'll ever attend as an attendee, just to relax and have a good time. So there is that. Let's see what else we have here. And I'm just letting you all know, in case you haven't heard, Orange Lounge Radio is in its final broadcasting arc. There are 3 episodes left till the arc is over. So head over to Twitch TV/VOG Network Sundays at 9. Join in and participate and be part of the whole thing. I realize that I'm coming back from PAX, and be home just in time to catch to catch the final episode. So that's going to be something. So they've been on the air for 23 and a half years. So please come through and be a part of the amazing celebration. And one of the reasons why I'm talking about that is, for those of you who don't know, Anime Jam Session is sort of a spin-off of OLR. Not a spin-off, but like, I've joked that we're like the kid brother of the podcast, because everything that we do on this show was inspired by them. So that's why we kind of are similar, but yet different at the same time. So there is that. So yes, come to PAX for one day. Come through. I'll be there all weekend. No cosplaying. I'm just actually chilling and having a good time. Okay. I think that is it. So no sponsorships. So now this is the fun part, where it's all about me talking about Derpycon for about a half hour or so, give or take. The original plan was to talk about the con, did have some news and get out of here, but Mako-chan is off, so it's just us. So I'll make it good for the most part. So I think you're really going to like what I have to say about the convention. So
do tell.
Yeah, I will say this. There are some conventions, when they start out, they will just tread water. There are some conventions that will start treading water, then they'll just shoot way up. And then you have ones that'll just tread water and just drop down. And then just go up and down like a seismic graph, Derpycon is one of those conventions where it treaded water a lot, and then it started making waves. It started making waves to be better. I can say that the cosplay at Derpycon has gotten better in the aspect of seeing more cosplayers show up. There are people who don't go to small and medium cons because they're like, oh, that is a piss poor convention. Oh, that con's not going to do anything good to my reputation, this and that. There are people I know that will hit up Anime NYC, Otakon, AX, the big conventions, and just cosplay to their heart's content. But they will skip a small con like, for example, Derpycon, or a medium-sized convention like Zenkai-Con, or a smaller one like AAC. Even though some of these cosplayers, they may live right up the road from where these events are and just won't show up, because they feel that it's beneath them.
Like they're so fucking important.
Well, yeah, but I can say the people that are running the cosplay department are veterans of cosplay and organization. Been doing it for 20 years. The people that run the game room are bringing in some awesome arcade machines, and they've run their own convention. The panels have gotten a lot better over the years because you have more people that are more knowledgeable about what they're talking about. I will say, again, Derpycon can be a perfect starter convention for anybody because it's a multi-genre con. This is a convention where you can discover anime, sci-fi, fantasy, pop culture, all types of cool stuff. And Ari, you would have had a field day in the tabletop room.
Bet I would.
Yeah, but only because there wasn't a lot of people in there, so you would have had a good time just going through the different games and enjoying yourself.
Yeah, I get what you're saying,
Yes.
but I still want to, sit down and pull up a seat and start playing with somebody.
Yeah, there were some people you could play with. Plus, you would have time to have like good conversations, as opposed to like some game rooms where there's tabletop. It's just so crowded, you can't hear yourself talk and stuff like that. There's a wait line.
People taking the game way too goddamn seriously.
Well, that too. All right. So, first thing first, I want to say that, overall, I had a good time at this convention. I really enjoyed myself. And for some reason, I should actually put up an actual 30-minute timer. I really should. Let's see here. Actually, let's do it right here. I'm going to put myself. Actually, I'm going to do 25 minutes because I've already started talking about the convention. So there is that. Now, if I can just get, if I could just figure out how to, let's see, is this it? That's something. Oh, that's something different I was working on. Okay, that's something completely different I was working on. Oh, but it still works. All right. So what I am going to do, I am going to put this timer, and I'm going to talk about the con a little bit more, and let's see if I can get everything done within the time elapsed given. So there we go. So there we go. I like that. All right, so I'm gonna break it down 3 days and let's rock and roll. One thing about Derpycon, it's not a day zero convention. It doesn't get enough people to come in so quickly, to come in early. So don't even worry about that. Secondly, if you're coming via mass transit, it's the Hyatt Regency in New Brunswick. It's literally like a block and a half from the train station. You can take the train in and walk down, do like a 5 minute walk, and be there. That's another thing that I like. The layout of the hotel is kind of odd, but you kind of get used to it and it works. Now, another thing that they do that I think more conventions need to do, they do not sell badges at the con. They do not sell badges at all. So you're probably wondering, if they don't sell badges, how do I get it? How do I get one? Order online. Go to the website and make your purchase, and you show up with a QR code, and that's it. AAC has something similar where they have like kiosks where you can register. I know some conventions have that, but I think that if you let people know, just go online and purchase your ticket and just show the QR code, I think that works a lot better. Because you don't have to worry about finding change and this and that. That's fine. So I got there about 12:45, give or take, around the time that my panel was supposed to start. And what happened was, I got up, got everything together, and I decided, because of the traffic to get to the subway station, I decided to take a Lyft. So we're going, and then I realized I forgot my meds. And I'm like, I can go 3 days without it. Then I realized I forgot the camcorder. The driver was nice enough to turn back around where I can grab my little jump bag, throw the camcorder in there, throw my meds in there, grab anything else, and go. And I made it there. Then we ran into an issue with my presentation. Now, my panel was about Twitch streaming. Now, it wasn't the panel itself, it was the hardware. And this happened about 2 weeks ago, when I was at AAC. Come to find out that my docking station has died. It just will not push a signal out to the projector. And there were two people in the panel who were at AAC. They remember it. Well, one of them was nice enough to let me borrow an adapter so I could do the panel. And I went ahead, did the panel, which was really good. I actually ordered a replacement, like a travel hub with everything. So because I was doing another panel on Saturday. So there is that. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna pull up guidebook so I can talk about this a little bit more. Okay, here we go. My schedule. All right. Excuse me.
Huh? Oh.
Yeah, I had to sneeze. I didn't want to everyone to hear it. So after my panel, I went around, did some photography. There was some really great cosplays. The lighting there was really good. I was able to work with that. Later in the day, I went ahead and changed into one of my cosplays. I brought Wakana Gojo from My Dress Up Darling, Reverend Gardabelt from Panty and Stocking, and Black Jesus. I was going to bring Luigi, but I had gone to a party the night before, and I already sweated through it. I was like, no, let's let it go. Then, I don't think anybody knew that I was Wakanda, but it was quite all right because it was a very comfortable outfit to wear. So I think this is going to be a cosplay I will be wearing at conventions a lot more often. The only thing is walking around with the tabby socks, which I'm starting to get used to, and the sandals. I walk at a slower pace with the sandals because I worry about breaking them. So after that, I changed back into regular clothes and went to the Derpycon Idol Showcase. Now, for those of you who don't know what an Idol Showcase is, it's where cosplayers who cosplay from idol shows such as Love Live, AKB 0048, Project Sekai, Idolmaster, Idolish, and all of that. And they go on stage and they will perform songs from that anime or from that video game and do the choreography. Sometimes they may do a K-pop song and the choreography with that, but they'll be dressed as the characters from a different anime. And in most cases, it's a non-competitive event, so everyone's here to just to perform and have a good time. And it was really fun. One of the things I liked is that Derpycon, there's a projector in the back, and what they do is they put up there the name of the group and their logo and so forth, so you know who's on stage. I understand not every convention can do that because of the location of where they may have the event, but if you can keep the event in main events and you have the projector, I think it's going to work. So there is that, and that was fun. So I would say Friday was not bad. There weren't a lot of people, not a lot of cosplayers, but enough, for me to get some decent pictures. And I would say if you're there to just chill and have a good time, that was good. I actually had time to go down to the game room, check out the game room, and do a little bit of gaming as well. I didn't have to worry about trying to fit time into it. And what was interesting was the game room is usually big, but they kind of blocked off a good portion of it and turned that into Artist Alley. And because the collapsible walls were soundproof, when you went into Artist Alley, you didn't hear the games at all, which was great. So Friday was good. I enjoyed myself. And again, what's great is there are food places literally a block up the street. Unfortunately, Blackthorn, which was a really popular Irish pub and diner, closed down. So they usually have like the after parties there, but there weren't one this year. So if you left the Hyatt and walked up a block, to the left and right were tons of food places. 7-Eleven, Dunkin'. There's like 3 ramen shops. There's a Vietnamese place. There's a couple of Spanish places. You didn't have to worry about food, okay? You were good. Especially if you didn't want to eat at the Derpycon Cafe. Or if you didn't want to go to the Maid Cafe. Which is something I had planned to do, but I never got around to doing so. Okay.
I'm guessing they're all pretty, overpriced there.
I would assume so, but at the same time, I just didn't think about going to the Maid Cafe. And I think because I'm spoiled. I'll be the first to win. I am spoiled. Years ago, I went to the Fonda May had a Maid Cafe the year that I went, and I thought it was great the way they did it. And I started doing Maid Cafes at local conventions and bigger conventions. I'm just like, y'all can't touch Phantom Maid's Cafe. No. I'm sorry, but serving coffee from a Keurig is not my idea. Something you should do in a Maid Cafe. Just me personally. And then going to an actual Maid Cafe in Japan, that really shot up my standard. It's like, oh, what are you doing? Okay. So Saturday. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Saturday, I went to a panel called Convention Stories run by my friend Dawn. It's basically, originally, the way it was, people would come up, she would tell crazy, funny, interesting stories at conventions. And then people would just come up and tell their stories. It got to the point where some of these convention stories became horror stories or revelation stories, like there's a story about how a staffer put John St. John in his place after he's being drunk and bewildered, and I was like, and then I'm just telling stories about, about stuff going horribly wrong and me being there to help out. But That's changed. It's more stories of positivity. There's no stories about calling somebody out. It's just interesting, funny convention stories, and that was great. Um, Another panel. I didn't catch out the whole thing. I saw some of it. It was run by Lady Ava Designs. It was called Cosplay de Couture, the Her Universe Fashion Showcase and Geek Couture. For those of you who don't know, Lady Ava participated in this year's Her Universe and she won the Audience Award. So she was telling the stories about her cosplaying, entering her universe, and entering every year, and when the whole thing and what couture is. We have that panel recorded, so that will be on our on our YouTube page later on. So that was a good, fun, and very informative panel. Then there was my panel. Let's go to Japan, your guide to planning, exploring, and saving. And it was standing room only. I did not think it would be that way. And for those of you who don't know, this panel is about planning your trip to Japan. A suggestion that I got from somebody at the last time I did this is talk about the do's and don'ts. So at the beginning of my panel, I have like a little 5-minute video that I have everybody watch about the do's and don'ts of Japan. It's not a complete list, but it's some basic information. And then I talked about, getting your papers in order to go, like your passport, letting Japan, the Ministry of Health and Welfare know about what medications you're on, plotting out, the price of your airline tickets, places you want to go, and once you kind of figure out where you want to go, finding a hotel that will put you minutes away from everything. I will say this. When we were in Akihabara, we stayed directly in there. Our hotel was basically about 10 minutes walking to the train station, but everywhere we went, it wasn't that far of a ride. I think the furthest out we went was Nakano, which was like 40 minutes, or going to Ikebukuro, which is again, it's about 40 minutes. And I talked about how the signage is in multiple languages, what apps you'll need to travel with, money you'll need, places to go to spend your money, and I'm going to revamp that, and the type of hotels that you'll be staying in. And I'm going to tell you this: you can stay in a 3-star hotel for like $80 a night in Japan, but just remember the room is pretty small. If you've ever stayed in a hotel in New York City, that's basically about the size of your hotel room in Japan, give or take. I did talk about how luggage, shipping, and all of that, and it was completely informative. That presentation I will have up on my personal website, dcronmess.net, later this week, and expect that to be revamped again before the year is out. So there is that. Now, the last thing that I did was I went to the masquerade, which is something I always do. I record it and everything. I love my idols. I love my idols. I love my idol skits. I love my dance skits and so forth. I love all of that. But I think I'm starting to hit my fill. There's a term, press play skit. A press play skit is where you take a routine from an idol anime and you dress up and you cosplay the group in their proper outfits from that song that they're doing, and you do the whole routine 1-to-1. Ergo, press play skit. I remember when I was competing and when I wasn't competing, watching skit, there was like an equal amount of comedy, drama, there was song and dance, and maybe some interesting karaoke skits here and there. It was nice. Oh, side note, pod culture. I will send you a couple of pictures from the hotel rooms I stayed in, but there were they were big enough. You can get rooms big enough for queen beds. It is possible, but for the rooms that we stayed in, there was big enough for two full size. Because I'm a tall dude, so I was perfectly good with that. So And there are times where I see like the adjustments of skit ratios change and fluctuate, but lately it's like 75% of skits are dance skits, and the remaining 25 or just comedy or drama or something like that. I kind of miss the days of there was an equal blend of everything. Now, as much as I kind of find myself railing against it, it was still a fun show overall. Now, for those of you who weren't there, I will probably post this clip on our Facebook page. I know I keep saying I'm gonna do stuff like that, but I never do. But Chuck E. Cheese was there.
Oh God, I remember you talking about this.
Yes, Chuck E. Cheese was there doing a dance skit with Five Nights at Freddy's as his backup dancers and singers playing in the background. Oh man, that was crazy. Actually, I might just go in and just clip that whole. I might just clip the whole thing and just put it on our page instead of just that little 30-second thing. I might just clip the whole thing. So I thought that I thought was like, to me, it was one of the best parts of the masquerade. The other thing that had my heart was there was a My Little Pony group. They had the entire main six. No Spike, but it'll do. The entire main six there, and they did this whole dance routine to a K-pop song. I'm not familiar with K-pop, but I thought it was really good. They didn't get best in show; they got a judges award. But what was interesting was when that one judge went up to start talking about it. I looked at them. I'm like, "That's y'all. That's y'all." I knew that they won that. I thought it was great. Personally, maybe because of my bias, they should have gotten best in show. And now the downside of the masquerade was the seating. If you kind of notice at conventions, masquerades are very popular. And there are people who will line up early for just to get a good seat. And then there'll be standing room only. Some conventions will set up an overflow room with a live feed, and that was really nice. And that's what they did for they did panel room 1 as a overflow. And also, I believe they also had a closed circuit feed in the hotel so you could watch it there too. So, and despite my feelings about the masquerade and the ratio of skits and performances, overall it was really good. I still enjoyed myself. Maybe I'm just getting up. Maybe I'm just starting to get a little bit too old for this. I don't know. But I'm still having a good time with it. So that was basically my Saturday. So we went back to the room, ordered dinner, and we hung out in the room and talked and chatted. And then I went down to the bar to have a drink. And then as I'm leaving, I run into Bill Rogers. He had just came back from dinner. They were going to go for ice cream. So I went along with them, and we found an ice cream place that's right by the train station. And for those of you who are on my personal Facebook, I had said something along the lines of, I went out, had ice cream with a Pokemon gym leader turned trainer and the King of Hyrule. And if you knew to guess, you probably known who I was hanging out with, because if you don't, for those of you who don't know, Bill Rogers is one of the original voices of Brock from Pokemon, who was originally a gym leader, who is now a trainer. And he's also the voice of the King of Hyrule in The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. And then Sunday was kind of quiet, kind of chill. I popped in and saw a bit of closing ceremonies. It was the same old, but everybody has that whole thing. Oh wait, there was one thing I did stop in for on Saturday night. I totally forgot to mention. I didn't put it on my schedule here. The Manly Battleships were there. They had Fanfic Mystery Theater, 18 plus.
Boy,
Ari, grab your drink.
Man, my How Ridiculous tea, I'm all out of it.
Mm. Well,
I don't have enough alcohol for this, but please.
I originally I was going for Staff After Dark, and I'll get into that in just a bit. So they had people acting out fan fiction. I had walked in and they were doing a reading of a My Little Pony fan fiction where she was getting it on with Princess Celestia, who had the ability to change into different shapes and characters and so forth. I'll let your mind do the imagining on that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God.
The second part was a fanfic they acted out where Elsa was getting it on with Shrek. And I just killed Ari Rockefeller, boys and girls. I am sorry. I am so sorry.
God. Why do you hurt me so?
I was just waiting for the Staff After Dark panel. Okay.
Was it worth it?
Yes, because we spent a good chunk of it bashing PoochieCon.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, so here's something. Some conventions will have what's called Voice Actors After Dark or something after dark. It's basically a panel where everybody is completely uncensored. It is not recorded. You are not allowed to record any of this because shit is going to be said, and if somebody records it and posts it, it could cause a lot of problems, which is why it's like you're not allowed to. Some cons will do Voice Actors After Dark, which is pretty fun. This one is Staff After Dark. So this is what I have learned. Derpycon bought Anime Next's rave gear and gaming equipment for pennies on the dollar.
And what did they do with it?
They use it for the con.
Oh.
Yeah, like the panel rooms have really nice projectors now. The dance room has really nice lights and stuff like that. People that were there discovered the harrowing truth about PoochieCon, whereas someone like me, I already knew what was going on, so I kind of shared off the screenshot where the con chair of PoochieCon was asking me why I said negative things about her convention. I say negative things about your convention because your convention is a joke. It is terrible. That's why. So that was the long and short of it. And I just thought that, to me, that was worth staying up to the second 1 a.m. hour. Because remember, daylight savings time happened last weekend, so.
Oh, yeah, that was a thing. How could I forget about that?
I would say overall, Derpycon was great. I had a good time. I would give the con somewhere in between 3.5, 4 out of 5 stars. If I was doing a 10-star system, 7.5. You have people who are running departments that know what they're doing now. You have staffers who are being a lot more attentive and understanding. A better way to register people. They're doing a lot for a small convention. And I think it's well worth the trip out. So if you are local to Jersey, come to Derpycon next year. Now, next year's date is October 30th to November 2nd. Now, for those of you who are asking, why is the con on Halloween weekend or something along those lines? You have to understand something. That was the only available weekend that they had. So they're stuck at that slot because there are other event runners who take different dates. They have to wait until that date is cleared up before they can grab that. I am hoping like they will eventually be able to be on the first weekend of November or something like that, because that would be nice. I would love to be able to do a con in October, relax, and then do a con in November and just call it the end of it, and that's all. So overall, if you had your qualms about Derpycon, now you know. It is it's a fun con. Definitely come check it out. And that is Derpycon in about 30 minutes or less. I think I did a pretty good job of that.
Hey, it just beat the timer.
Yup. Then again, like I said, I knocked it down to 25
You didn't
minutes.
have a buzzer or anything?
No, I didn't. I didn't think it was. I don't think it was appropriate to have a buzzer, but it was more.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
The soundboard.
Try it again. I did not hear anything.
That was odd.
I didn't hear anything. But I do have a soundboard on my side, so if I really wanted to, I could just drop this in. But that's me,
Yeah,
man.
that sounded like it sounded like it cut off for a second.
No, it's the generic buzzer from like Family Feud. That's all it is. Are you using the voice mod?
Yeah.
That's probably I think I make sure the voice mod is on the same output as the streamer or something like that. I might just re-download voice mod and just play around with the settings and stuff. So if I could just drop that in there and just put these soundboards I have here on it, I would greatly love that. So anyhow, now that we got that out the way, we have some news we're gonna cover, and then we're gonna get up on out of here. Ari, let them know what's going on with VIZ and their media and their breach. What is going on here? Because this is the first I'm hearing about it, and I don't think that is a good thing.
Okay, so the Cyber News Security website reported on October 30th that hackers claimed to have stolen more than 250 gigabytes of corporate data from a vice president at VIZ Media.
Damn.
Cyber News said the hackers announced the... I'm sorry, what?
I said, damn.
They announced that Cyber News state the hackers announced the alleged hack on a quote underground data leak form that's often utilized by initial access brokers, a subset of cyber criminals who trade access keys to companies. A screenshot from the leak form that Cyber News posted said that access is to a Google account associated with VIZ. Price is minimum 5 figures. So we're looking at least $10,000 apparently. Hackers claim to have stolen emails, NDAs, license agreements, employee credentials, future business plans, employee social security numbers, invoices, and royalty statements. Another screenshot posted by Cyber News allegedly shows the access the hackers have, which include a corporate Google Drive, Gmail accounts, VIZ Media's initial internal dashboard, and access to MediaBox's royalty management dashboard. So yeah, this is a big data breach if true.
And their their Twitter account was hacked earlier this year too.
That I must have missed.
Yeah. Somebody didn't do their proper cybersecurity training, so now everybody, the whole company's gonna have to do it all over again. And I'm looking in the forums, and somebody said,
God damn it!
Well, there you go. Whenever a large company like Insomniac Games or VIZ Media gets hacked, it points to them being complacent in their cybersecurity practices. That complacency ends up costing them their employees' personal information, being out in the wild. Hopefully the higher-ups of VIZ Media are taking the most appropriate action so it doesn't occur again. And I will have to say, Cypher997, you're incorrect on that, sir. It's not about being complacent in cybersecurity practices. It's just somebody screwing up, all right? Because if somebody's being complacent, that means it's multiple people that are being complacent, okay? Somebody screwed up. They probably if the entire VIZ Media backend is Google linked, somebody probably linked it to a personal account, and that's how it got out there. So there are some things you do and don't do. And another person's like, How does one person have access to all that? Well, when you are a higher up C-suite, you have access to a lot of things. So, well, it is
Why
what
don't
it
you tell
is.
us what's next?
I will gladly do that because I am off the clock. I don't need to sit here and educate people on cybersecurity and so forth. But we will talk about AI and it being criticized, which is a good thing. 18 Japanese companies, including Studio Ghibli, published a joint statement last Friday criticizing the OpenAI's Sora2 video audio generation system. Along with CODA, the Content Overseas Distribution Association, they have determined that Sora2 is producing content resembling works and images that were originally created by those 18 companies. According to the statement, Sora2 is using copyrighted works for machine learning, resulting an output that closely resembles the company's content. Sora2 uses an opt-out system as opposed to an opt-in system, meaning that any work is theoretically usable on the program until companies request for their works to be removed, which is another case for copyright infringement since Japanese copyright laws protects created works and requires permission for usage. CODA has requested that Sora2 not use its members' company's content for machine learning without permission, and that the OpenAI responses that their claims regarding copyright information in order to protect creators' works and to ensure healthy development of AI technology. The companies have also asked for a change to an opt-in system, allowing content in Sora2 transparency for machine training data and appropriate compensation for rights holders who grant permission for their works to be used. The statement reassures that the companies are in support of advancing AI technology. However, they will not tolerate copyright infringement and they will take legal action as necessary. The companies that are part of this 18 member pact is Akira Shoten, Iji Nishiwa, Ozora Publishing Company, Kadokawa, Koenix, Kodansha, Shogakukan, Shonen Gahosha, Shinchoja, Square Enix, Takeshobo, Toe Books, Nihon Bogeisha, Hakusensha, Futabasha, Hoenbunsha, Lead Publishing, and Nihon Mangaka Kyokai, which translates to the Japan Cartoonists Association. And I'm going to say this once, and I'm going to say this again. Generative AI is bad.
Yeah.
When you see like chat GPT and stuff like that and people are doing these, don't it's not what it's used for. And secondly, it's not real AI. What you see that is chat GPT and Copilot, it's basically, if you remember Microsoft's Cortana, it's basically Cortana evolved. That's basically what it is. So we need to stop that. Now, programmable AI that's used in video games, that's cool. The AI in video games that handle like the enemies and how the storyline flows, that's fine. That's cool. I wouldn't mind AI in that, whereas if I'm going through a roguelike, no two games are the same, That I'm cool with. But
it's delightful that that Studio Ghibli is, one of the forerunners of this, because they've been associated with it in the worst way. Like, you remember, this is like several months ago when the trend was to make fake Studio Ghibli style AI art on the internet, and it got so bad from later iterations were drawing of other on other AI slop that has been made.
Yeah.
And now a lot of it has what's called the Ghibli filter, which is this piss yellow tint on the whole image. It is like a dead giveaway that it's it's not real.
Yeah. But people are like, if you have to type it in to generate the art, you're not an artist. That's it.
Yeah, obviously.
If you say otherwise, I'm not going to argue with you. You are a waste of my time. Let's move on. Ari, why is my anime?
I don't like talking about it.
Yeah, I don't blame you, but I want to know, why is my anime list banned in Russia? Why?
because Russia doesn't let people have nice things.
Well, that too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you want specifics. Okay. So, per the Moscow Times, Russia's federal media watchdog, Rotsumandadzor officially blacklisted my anime list on October 22nd over alleged quote-unquote extremist LGBTQ content.
And there
And
it
its
is.
contents to the state-run news agency, there it is too, RIA Novosti, Roskomnadzor cited the quote-unquote systematic placement of materials containing information propagating non-traditional sexual relationships and or preference as the reasoning for the ban. Russian users attempting to access the site, which boasts around 20 million users, are now met with an error message. Officials stated that the ban could be reversed if Tokyo-based platforms remove the content deemed unlawful.
And you know they won't.
They won't, because you being triggered is a skill issue on your part.
Yup.
It's part of a broader, long-standing campaign against LGBTQ plus expression in Russia, which the government, utilizing its anti-LGBTQ laws, had passed in 2013 for this effect. In late 2023, Russia's Supreme Court issued a landmark ruling declaring that International LGBT Public Buddha is a quote-unquote extremist organization, effectively criminalizing any related activism or expression. This has led to various content, including anime and manga, to being directly targeted. Manga Lib, the largest Russian language manga platform, has been fined over 14 million rubles across 7 cases for hosting manga that depicted same-sex relationships and sexual content. That's like, what, $200 US?
I said rubles, not pesos. So it's actually about 170. Yep. It's about $170,000.
I know. I just like dunking on Russia and the rubles.
We all love dunking on Russia and the rubles.
It's collapsed. However, recent cases targeting the platform are turned bizarre. The platform's manager, Ivan Kavaz, was personally fined over 1 million rubles, which is about 12,000 US, for hosting the manga The Great Snake's Bride after a court agreed with prosecutors that a romance between a human and a mythological creature qualified as quote-unquote non-traditional. Oh boy, if you're getting this triggered over an anime, do not look at Greek mythology. I swear, these people would read like 1/10 of some of Zeus's exploits and their fucking heads would explode.
Yep.
So yeah, being bigoted and hateful is definitely a skill issue, and these idiots are just making things more difficult for everybody.
Can't win them all. What can I say?
So what else are we gonna look at tonight?
Well, we have meanwhile in Japan. We got that. It's it's the part of the show where everyone likes to stick around for anyway. Before we continue on, Bonzolo 6 says, so the land of vodka don't like hentai.
Oh, they like it.
Here's the thing. The land of vodka likes hentai, but they don't like same-sex hentai. They don't want any yaoi. They don't want any yuri. That's it. That's what they don't like. But fuck them. Anywho, we're at Meanwhile in Japan. This is a part of the show that y'all really stick around for anyway, and we really appreciate y'all for that. And we have 3 stories. We'll read off 2 of them, and Ari gets first pick.
I want to take the first one.
This
is absolutely right up my alley.
I had a feeling. I'm going to take the second one, so...
New Kyoto Experience package lets you film epic samurai battles with your friends. Kyoto's connection to Japanese history and traditional culture is the main thing that draws travelers to the city, and so there are a number of photo studios and services that can arrange for you to have your picture taken while wearing classical attire. Shogun Studio Japan is one of them, but you can also pose in serene surroundings and fight fight a samurai battle in full armor. Start with the more orthodox part of the package. The Samurai Battle movie experience begins with a choice of armor and fitting at the company's studio, after which you head to your choice of one of 3 locations in Kyoto's historical Arashiyama district, either the Toketsuko Bridge, the iconic bamboo forest paths, or a traditional tea house. Tea house might not be as famous as the other 2 options, but it does include matcha for you to sip on during a photo shoot. For the second half, you head up into the mountains and battle. Following safety explanation, you'll be given access to an arsenal of swords, spears, and bows, to which you stage a dramatic samurai cinema-style fight in a secluded venue. To add to the immersion, Shogun Studio Japan staff can play the roles of your fated opponents, falling against your onslaught. They can take up arms as your faithful companions, and if you already got a crew of friends with which you make your own samurai clan, that's doable too, as packages can include up to 6 participants. In addition to still photos, you also get a slickly edited short movie, 2 to 3 minutes in length, of the battle that includes drone footage of your action. The whole experience lasts around 2 hours, splitting roughly equally between the 2. Oh boy!
I kind of want to do this when I go back to Japan.
Absolutely.
No, because I've said I wanted to go and just walk around wearing a kimono, but I never got a chance to do that. But my friend Erica, she was able to go to a studio and get pictures done, and my other friend Hillary was able to do that too. And I'm just like, I'm a little salty, but this is definitely adding this to my list. So I don't care how much they charge. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want
to be filmed cleaving somebody in half with a giant naginata.
I know, right? I'm actually going to my Wonderlog right now, and I'm actually adding this. I'm like, I gotta find this spot. Let's see, Shogun Studio Japan, and got it. It's been added to my list because I realized
Awesome.
Because I realized, like, between my last 2 trips to Japan, the bulk of my trip I'm in Tokyo. I don't do much in Osaka and Kyoto. I mean, in Osaka, yes, we did have a food tour and we did Universal. And before that, I was only there for like 2 days. Kyoto was about the same thing, and I know we did a tea ceremony. We did a walking tour of Gion, and we went to a show. And I think we were there for 3 days. I think can make room for that for the next trip around, so definitely. And Bonzo06 says, so if I fail my Shogun, do I have to perform seppuku? Maybe. Just maybe.
Oh God, don't give him any ideas.
Too late.
I'm fairly certain ritual suicide is not covered in the terms and conditions.
Don't tell them that. All right. So our last story of the night for Meanwhile in Japan, we're going to talk about how English teachers in Japan apologize for having low proficiency kids say poison in an assigned video. What in the fresh farm? In
All the
teaching,
context will be nice, I suppose.
I know, right? In teaching foreign languages, there are 2 facets that educators have to take into consideration. One is the subject matter itself, encompassing things such as introducing vocabulary, explaining grammar, and fine-tuning pronunciation. The other is the psychological aspect, helping learners feel comfortable engaging with the language, and in its area that a public high school in a Tochigi prefecture ran into an issue. Whoops. As part of the English class lessons in September, second-year students at Sano Higashi High School were tasked with filming themselves pronouncing English words, with the videos to be shown at a native English-speaking alt. Alt is an assistant language teacher. The students were divided into 4 groups of approximately 20 teens each, based on their level of English proficiency, with each a group given a word to pronounce at the beginning of their video. For the students in the more talented groups, the words include harmony and educate. However, the group with the lowest proficiency level was given a less auspicious sounding vocabulary word to say, poison. Some parents were none too...
I can see where this would be a little unusual.
Some parents were none too pleased when they found out about this and voiced their complaints to the school. Can't say I don't blame them. They said that they felt like their children were being ridiculed. The teachers who had designed the lesson and who seemed to be Japanese say that they had no intentions of insulting the students or insinuating that they were problematic pupils and had merely picked vocabulary words from the units in the class curriculum. Poison appeared within a lesson on how to discuss environmental issues in English, introduced in its context of pollution, and the teachers say that they selected it for the lowest proficiency group because they felt it was easy to pronounce word. Okay. Nevertheless, the following complaints from parents, they have apologized for causing awkwardness and discomfort to the students. Well, alrighty then. It's true that poison is a relatively easy word for Japanese speakers to pronounce. It doesn't require any consonant blends or vowel sounds that don't also exist in the Japanese language and has a terminal N, the only consonant that Japanese words end in. By comparison, pollute contains an L sound, which Japanese language famously lacks, and a silent E, something that regularly trips up Japanese learners of English. At the same time, with the other groups being assigned words such as harmony and educate, it doesn't seem like the pool of potential vocabulary words were limited to any single topic, so it really shouldn't have been difficult to find with a more complementary meaning that the lowest proficiency group would still be able to manage. Of course, when studying a language, it is important to learn words for talking about unpleasant and desirable things too. And at the high school level, where it's perfectly reasonable to expect students to know and be able to pronounce poison. Getting back to the psychological aspect of teaching English as a second language though, having the lowest proficiency group begin their videos by looking at the camera and saying poison, while their more accomplished classmates got to say words of much more positive connotation, probably didn't do too much for their self-esteem. And there it is. Early discouragement can cause some young learners to avoid mentally engaging with the subject as much as possible as emotional self-preservation mechanism, so giving the lowest proficiency group an easy to say but still positive sounding word to start off their video with would probably in the long run be beneficial. It's also bearing in mind that no one lost their job or appears to have had their pay docked over the incident. As such, this looks to be a not-so case of teachers being punished for not coddling overly sensitive teens, but more realization that a little extra consideration and lesson design would have been the wiser choice. And there you have it. And I totally get it.
Yeah, like mistakes were made here.
Yep. And apologies were given out. So I think it's safe to say we can kind of learn from this and move on.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up the show and see you all next week.
Yeah.
So if you like tonight's show, tell a friend. They in turn will tell another friend, and so on and so forth. We're independent bloggers, independent podcasters. So what we like and don't like, we're telling you straight up. And that's how we roll around here. So if you have any questions about the show, please drop us a line at podcast@animejamsession.com. That's podcast@animejamsession.com. We're here to believe you. Please check out our website at animejamsession.com, where you will find not just our weekly podcast, you will find cosplay tips and tricks, cosplay interviews, editorials, convention reports, anime reviews. You'll have links to our YouTube and Facebook pages of cosplay and convention coverage. All that and a lot more at animejamsession.com. Let's see what else do we have here. Our podcast. If you like the show, please subscribe to the podcast. Our podcast is available anywhere where podcasts are available. And if not, just drop us a line and we'll get you hooked up. And what's cool is some of these podcasting apps, you can leave reviews. So if you can, we ask, leave a review. We want to know what you think. If you can't shoot an email, if you just want to post it, please let us know. Let the podcasting world know. We appreciate that. Social media. You can find us at Anime Jam Session on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Blue Sky. So follow us on those. And those of you who do, thank you so much. We really couldn't do anything without you. We really love our fans. And our tip jar. As you can see at the beginning of the show, we had a hype train. And to everyone who chipped in for the hype train, thank you. You're awesome. And we love you. So if you want to help in with that, one of the things you can do is click on our direct links to our Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and our Ko-Fi page links. And you can send us money directly if you want to do that. Bits. You can cheer us on with bits. That's how we got the hype train, and we really appreciate that. And subscriptions. Sub to the channel. Give out gift subs. Every little bit we really appreciate. So now we get that out the way. We got last words. Last words, Ari.
I'm just looking to. I'm not looking forward to getting up at 4:30 in the morning, but hey,
Yikes.
That's work for you.
I hear you. My last words. I want to put the show aside tonight instead of editing. I just want to sit down and watch more like Japan culture videos, like gaijin and foreigners talking about living in Japan and stuff to do, because it's just getting me more kind of hype on my next trip going back out. So that is it, and that's that. End of list. We're getting out of here. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. I will be here, Ari will be here, Mako-chan will be here, and Barry will be here, and we're hoping that you'll be here too. So we're going to get up on out of here. So I'm Ranma.
And I'm Ari.
Great fight, great night. See you next week.
Good night, everybody.
Say goodnight, Ari.
Good night, Ari.
Perfect. Awesome. We're getting out of here. See you all next week.
This podcast has been a production of Anime Jam Session and AJS Productions. No fanboys and fangirls were hurt, maimed, shot, electrocuted, or pistol whipped in this episode. For now. The views, opinions, and thoughts expressed on this show do not reflect the staff or the network as a whole. But we're still right, damn it. For transcripts of this episode, start typing. Check us out at animejamsession.com and vognetwork.com for more information about us and other programming. Jamatane!